Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? What is good? Week 9 fantasy football on the way here in the Parable of Henry Ruggs. We've got standings, we've got matchups, and we've got a playoff picture to talk about, and an updated playoff picture at that. A new team in the playoffs here so far in the Parable of Henry Ruggs. We're going to get into all of that today. And with that being said, you know the drill. Here's the standings. We're going to talk about this week. We've got two teams clearly at the top here, once again separating themselves from all other teams in the league. The Avengers and Pig Six, both at 7-1. These two teams have just been dominant all year long. Both teams with above a 90% chance to make the playoffs. Really impressive stuff from both of these teams, the consistency and the performance week in, week out. We got five teams actually in an absolute bar fight for third place. We got Dak D's Nuts in Your Mouth, Rugs and Alcohol, Michael Penix, App is Stupid, and Madison Beer's Daddy. And I was not expecting this from Madison Beer's Daddy. What's happened with them recently? They started the season off 4-0. They were the last undefeated team remaining, and suddenly they've dropped 3 of their last 4, with their only win being against the bye week. Mind you that. Their last game, they dropped to Tomato Town. Tomato Town had their worst game all season long, dropping 86 points. But Madison Beer's Daddy, they beat them out, and they dropped 70. They just battled the downright terrible. Just awful performance from Madison Beer's Daddy. They've got to figure something out. This is not the time of the season you want to be struggling. They got to figure things out. Meanwhile, we've got Evan Team and No Mo Juice quietly, both teams at 4-4, at 8-9 in the league. These two teams faced off last week, and we had a classic. Evan Team dropping 146 points, but No Mo Juice dropping 148. No Mo Juice, I was not expecting this from them. The past 2 weeks, they've been an offensive clinic. Ever since they got CeeDee Lamb back, this has been a different team. They won their last 2 games with CeeDee Lamb in the lineup. Impressive stuff from them. And then, of course, we've got the bottom teams in the league. The Benson Boars, Cooper Swags, which are Sweets. Now here's a guy in Tomato Town. Tomato Town picking up their first win, of course, against Madison Beer's Daddy. Congrats to them. Maybe that can get them going. But it's too little too late for them, probably. Very low chances for these 4 teams to make the playoffs at all. And it's just been a very unlucky season for Now Here's a Guy all year long. By far and away leading the league in points against with 1,096 points against. Next closest team is Tomato Town at 923. Just very unfortunate for them, but hopefully they can find some better luck in the weeks to come. But not looking good for them so far, and it's not looking like they're going to make the playoffs. But that's the standings we've got so far. And now we've got our playoff bracket presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. We've got the Avengers at the 1 seed, Pig Six at the 2 seed. No surprise there. Both looking at bye week so far. Dak D's Nuts in Your Mouth at the 3 seed. Rugs and Alcohol at 4 seed. No change there. This is where the little change comes in. Michael Penix last week was seeded at number 6. This week they're number 5. And now at the 6th seed, we've got App is Stupid. Just sneaking into the playoffs there, coming off their win last week. They've been pretty average all season long, kind of going back and forth between wins and losses. But they've won their last 2, separating themselves a little bit. Now they're sitting at 5-3. So they've just snuck into the playoffs over Madison Beer's Daddy, who has fallen out of the playoff picture. They are now at the 7 seed. So we'll see if they can turn things around there. But just things are not trending in the right way for that team, Madison Beer's Daddy. But these are the 6 teams that we've got in the playoffs if the playoffs were to start today. So yeah, that's our playoff bracket now. And with our first matchup of Week 9, we've got the Benson Boars taking on Michael Penix. This one I think is going to be an absolute slaughter. I'll just go ahead and say it. The Benson Boars just haven't been that good all year long, offensively speaking. They've won some games, but just have not looked impressive offensively all year long. Unable to put up big numbers. Michael Penix has absolutely proven that they're an explosive offense. projected to score 133 points this week. And they've got two of the top 5 receivers in the league, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jackson Smith-Njigba. They've got the best running back in fantasy football, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, this game, I just don't think it's going to be close. I don't see any way the Benson boys can win this game. So give me Michael Penix. With the second matchup of Week 9, we've got Rugs and Alcohol taking on Madison Beers Daddy. Two teams that are 5-3, two teams that have proven that they belong in this league, but also two teams that have really struggled as of recently. Rugs and Alcohol, who has dropped their last 2 games back-to-back, and Madison Beers Daddy, who's dropped 3 of their last 4, with their only win being against the bye week. And also, both teams just haven't looked up to par offensively. They've really struggled. They looked a lot better at the beginning of the year. They've struggled recently. We'll see if they can get things back on pace here. As far as the matchup goes, I mean, it's gonna be a close game for sure. Both teams are missing key players, with Rugs and Alcohol missing Garrett Wilson, but also with Madison Beers Daddy missing Bucky Irving. It's gonna be a close game. To me, the real question is Josh Jacobs going to play? He's listed as questionable this week. If he's able to play, though, honestly, I still don't see them beating Madison Beers Daddy. On paper, this team just looks like the better team. I mean, Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle, Justin Herbert, and Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, those are 4 high quality players right there. I don't see how Rugs and Alcohol can beat this team this week. So give me Madison Beers Daddy. Now with the next matchup of Week 9, we've got Cooper Swag, Swisher Sweets taking on Now Here's a Guy. Both these teams have struggled this year. Cooper Swags, Swisher Sweets, they look like they were getting things back on track with 2 straight wins. But they dropped their last game, and just a horrible performance by them. They dropped around 50 points. I don't even think they got 50. I think they got around 45 points last game. But they have really struggled. And a large part of it, honestly, has, I think, been to the coaching. Head coach Cooper Atkins doing his best Brian Callahan impression. Starting 2 players last week that were not playing. One guy was out and the other guy was on injured reserve. Just inexcusable coaching right there, and just lack of awareness. This team has 3 players on injured reserve. 2 guys out, in A.J. Brown and Chris Godwin. One of the guys that's on injured reserve is already been listed as out for the season. But Cooper Swag keeps him around, I guess, just for locker room culture. I mean, I really don't know at this point. Like, it's just, like what is Kendre Miller doing on this team when he's out for this season? I don't know. You got to ask Cooper Atkins. He knows more than I do. But all I know is this team's really struggling. And Now Here's a Guy is also really struggling. But we can at least tell that head coach Camden Matthews cares about his team and his players. He puts his guys out there. He changes his lineup. And I think that's going to be the difference in this game. I think head coach Camden Matthews, I think he's really locked in and focused on this game. I don't think the other coach is. So give me Now Here's a Guy to win this matchup. And with the next matchup of Week 9, we've got Dak D's Nuts in Your Mouth taking on the Devengers. This game could be a really good game, I think. Dak D's Nuts in Your Mouth, who was the favorite for a while, has since fallen off a little bit. They've lost their last 2 games and have really struggled offensively. But they've shown throughout this season that they have potential to go off on any given week. But they're going up against a team in the Devengers who they have not always looked the flashiest. They haven't always looked like just the best team. But one thing they have proven is that game in and game out, they just find ways to win games. I mean, 7-1 doesn't just happen on accident. I mean, they've proven that they're a good team and that they can win any given matchup. I mean, Bo Nix could drop 40 this week and they could win. You know, it could happen. But with that being said, Puka Nacua coming back into the lineup for Dak D's Nuts in Your Mouth. Their best player, but also Emeka Egbuka with a bye week, and Cam Scadaboo, who broke his foot last week. Also important to consider, I mean, this is going to be a good game. And honestly, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know who to pick in this game. Dak D's Nuts in Your Mouth just seems like they're the clear favorite, but at the same time, I have a hard time betting against the Devengers and head coach Cameron Estes. I'm putting my money on the Avengers in this game. I don't care. With the next matchup of Week 9, we've got No Mo Juice taking on App Is Stupid. We've got one team fighting to keep their spot in the playoffs right now. We got the other team fighting for a spot in the playoffs. No Mo Juice with just an incredible run recently, starting off the season not looking hot, not looking like they were going to make the playoffs at all. And now they're sitting at 4-4 with a couple crucial wins the past few weeks. Taking on App Is Stupid this week, though, who really wants to keep their spot in the playoffs. And it's not going to be easy. They're going up against Josh Allen, Javonte Williams, and Tucker Kraft. I mean, App Is Stupid has absolutely proven that they've got offensive capabilities like no other. But No Mo Juice has, they've got firepower of their own. They've got CeeDee Lamb. They've got Joe Flacco. Woody Marks, who played good last game, but has been a little inconsistent. It's going to be a good game for sure, but all the big names on App Is Stupid, I don't know how they can do it. And head coach Connor Stutes, he's come forward. He knows that people like me have doubted this team all year long, and he even said just keep praying on my downfall. And honestly, I'm not really praying on his downfall. I just don't see how he has any chance in this game. So I'm going to doubt him again. I'm going with App Is Stupid in this game. With our final game of the week, we've got Pig 6 taking on Evan Team. Pig 6, who's looked great all season long, but some might say they got a little lucky last week. They dropped 98 points, but still managed to win against Dak D's Nesneo Mouth, 98-96. But also Evan Team, who is sitting at 4-4, but recently they've had an offensive explosion. Just 146 points last week, just unlucky that they played against a team who scored 148. 146 points in a loss is tough, but they've proven that they've got offensive capabilities like no other. Brock Purdy, Kyron Williams, Jamar Chase, Keenan Allen, Trey McBride. Very, very talented players for their team taking on Pig 6. And it's going to be a good game for sure. This might be the game of the week, but I think this is really a trap game for Pig 6, taking on a team that's 4-4. They might get a little too comfortable. But Evan Team, they've definitely got the firepower to take down Pig 6. Give me Evan Team to win this game. Also, we've got Tomato Town, who is on bye week this week. Huge win for them last week. They had their worst performance offensively last week, but they were still managed to win as they took on Madison Beer's Daddy. They scored 86 points. Madison Beer's Daddy scored 70. Big time for them. Maybe that can get some things going in the right direction for them. We'll see what ends up happening there, though. So much needed bye week for this team. Also, want to let y'all know of a few trades that went down this week. We've got Rico Dowdle being traded from Rugs and Alcohol in exchange for Xavier Legette and also for Travis Etienne. Very interesting trade there. I think Rugs and Alcohol trying to take advantage of the recent surge by Rico Dowdle in order to get some more depth for their team. We'll see how that pays off for them. And also another trade that went down, Tomato Town trading away T. Higgins and Alvin Kamara to Now Here's a Guy in exchange for DeAndre Swift and Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed, who's actually not going to be playing this week. He's still recovering from a broken collarbone, but that won't really matter that much considering they're on bye week. But Jaden Reed should be back in the lineup maybe next week, if not the week after that. We'll see what kind of shape he's in when he comes back from that injury, though. So stay tuned and keep paying attention to these teams. We'll see how these trades turn out. And that's going to do it for Week 9, this Week 9 preview here in the Parable of Henry Ruggs. Make sure to keep paying attention to football this weekend. Make sure to watch plenty of football. We'll see how things play out this week. I'm your host, Brady Thomas. We'll see you next week.